Did you know that a U.S. Air Force pilot can earn over $150,000 a year before even retiring, and sometimes much more with bonuses and allowances? That's right. In this video, we're going to break down exactly how much money a U.S. Air Force pilot makes in 2025, from their very first day in uniform all the way to senior ranks and even retirement. We'll cover base pay, flight pay, special bonuses, housing allowances, and what happens after they hang up the uniform. If you've ever thought about flying fighter jets or just want to know what these elite professionals really earn, this is the video for you. To become a pilot in the United States Air Force, you first have to become an officer. That usually means going through one of three main paths: the U.S. Air Force Academy, ROTC in college, or officer training school after earning a civilian degree. Once commissioned, those selected for pilot training head to undergraduate pilot training, or UPT, which lasts about 12 to 18 months depending on your assigned aircraft. It's long, intensive, and extremely competitive. And it's expensive for the government, that is. The Air Force can spend upwards of $10 million to fully train a single fighter pilot. Because of that, once you complete training, you're obligated to serve at least 10 years on active duty. So this is not a short-term gig. Now let's talk money. Military pay is structured differently from civilian jobs. Instead of a negotiated salary, everyone is paid according to a chart that depends on two things: rank and years of service. That base pay is the same for any officer at a given level, whether they're a pilot or not. However, pilots receive additional pay in the form of aviation incentive pay, commonly called flight pay, and, depending on their career decisions, aviation retention bonuses. Plus, there are other allowances like housing and food, which are often tax-free. Let's walk through a typical pilot's career and see how their income grows over time. When you first start out as a second lieutenant, or O1, your base pay in 2025 is about $3,800 per month, which adds up to around $45,600 per year. But pilots receive flight pay starting at $1,000 per month. So in your first year, you're looking at about $57,600 annually, before we even include housing and food benefits, which can add thousands more. After 2 years, you're promoted to first lieutenant, or O2. Your base pay increases to roughly $4,400 per month, or $52,800 per year. Add in the same $1,000 per month in flight pay, and your total earnings are now around $65,000 to $68,000 annually. By year 4, most pilots are promoted to captain, or O3. Base pay jumps to approximately $5,500 per month, or about $66,000 per year. At this point, aviation incentive pay could increase slightly. Let's say to $1,250 per month. So now you're making closer to $81,000 annually. And again, that's not including housing, which, depending on your location, could be worth an extra $20,000 to $40,000 per year. Around year 10, many pilots are promoted to major, or O4. That brings base pay up to about $7,500 per month, or $90,000 annually. With flight pay and possibly some early stage retention bonuses, your total income can hit $105,000 to $110,000 per year. It's worth noting that by this stage, some pilots are offered retention bonuses to stay in longer, sometimes as much as $35,000 per year for multi-year contracts. By year 14 to 16, pilots can reach the rank of lieutenant colonel or 05. Their base pay rises to approximately $8,500 per month, which totals over $102,000 per year. With maximum flight pay and bonuses, you're realistically earning $120,000 to $140,000 per year. These are experienced aviators, some flying high-level missions or commanding squadrons. At the senior level, full colonels, 06s, with over 20 years of service make over $10,500 per month, or about $126,000 annually before bonuses. Add in flight pay and retention incentives, and it's very possible to be earning $150,000 or more per year. That's not even touching retirement pay, which we'll get to in a moment. But money in the Air Force isn't just about salary. There are significant benefits that add to a pilot's total compensation. For example, pilots receive a tax-free housing allowance called BAH, which can range anywhere from $1,500 to $3,500 per month depending on where you're stationed. They also get a food allowance known as BAS and comprehensive health care, completely covered. When you add in all of those benefits, the real value of a pilot's compensation is far higher than what's shown on a paycheck. So how much can a pilot make over the course of a 20-year career? Including base pay, flight pay, bonuses, and allowances, a career Air Force pilot could earn between $2 and $3 million in total compensation. That's before even considering retirement benefits. After 20 years of service, they can retire with a military pension, typically 50% of their highest average basic pay for life. That could be $50,000 to $70,000 per year in retirement income, not including benefits like health care. And here's the kicker. Most military pilots retire in their early 40s, meaning they can launch a second career. Many go straight to the airlines, where commercial pilots, especially captains flying long-haul international routes, can earn $200,000 to $350,000 per year, depending on the airline and seniority. So for those who play it right, it's entirely possible to retire from the military with a pension and then earn top dollar as a commercial pilot for another 20 years. So, what's the final answer? In 2025, U.S. Air Force pilots start out earning about $60,000 per year, but that can climb to $150,000 or more at senior ranks with bonuses. Over a career, they can earn millions, not just in salary, but in housing, healthcare, and retirement benefits. It's not an easy path and it comes with sacrifice, but it's a highly rewarding profession both personally and financially. Would you consider becoming a military pilot? Or are you curious how this compares to Navy pilots or airline captains? Let me know in the comments. And if you like this breakdown, don't forget to subscribe for more clear answers to big career questions.